Hi guys, this is Cindy over at paper.old.new. This is kind of an odd video that I'm going to do here for a second. I'm going to explain something to you, and it's going to get tacked onto the front of what you will see as my second collage video. I wanted to start a little series, and I started the series, and I filmed a couple of videos getting the series started, and then the October collab from Sherry over at Turquoise Dreaming and Susan over at Susan Hiles Art came out. And before I could get the collage videos that I had made uploaded, they did their mobile crafts, hashtag mobile crafts, and the first one was Collage Masterboards. And that was going to go up before my series started. So I just kind of made that a sort of introduction to my Collage Masterboard series. This video that you're about to watch, that this is getting tacked onto the front of, is the actual first collage board video I made. I'm sorry it's so long in coming after the Collage Masterboard video from the collab is out. But again, that has to do with uploading videos and my internet, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to actually get this up. You should have seen that first Collage Masterboard video from the collab on the 14th of October. And their collabs are a ton of fun, so I really, really wanted to do it. And now I'm going to start this Collage Masterboard series. This is probably going to be, I'm guessing, but this is probably a couple weeks later. So while I put that first video up and talked about my collage series in October, this is probably coming to you in November. And now we are going to get started. Once again, I say that my videos get filmed ahead and then stuff happens before they go up that I have no control over. And that has to do with the internet I have to deal with. So it's unpredictable. We'll just say that. So without further ado, here is what was intended to be the first video in my collage board series. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hi everybody, this is Cindy over at paper.old.new. I was just working on, oh, I wanted to show you guys this. I'm working on a Collage Masterboard book. I thought I would bring you along. I'm crafting, and I don't do a lot of crafting videos, so I'm still getting used to that whole thing, and I thought I would just turn my camera on and see how this video turns out. If this turns out and I keep doing this, it's going to be kind of a multi-part series because it would be too long. The process is just really long. I found this glue. It was an experimental glue when I first got started, and while I don't like it for a lot of things, I do like it for gluing this first layer of pages down because it's very thin. It's a very thin glue, and you would think that would mean it wouldn't stick well, but it's very sticky. So like it spreads really well, and it gets these fine edges and stuff to stick down really good. So basically what I was starting to do was I've gone through this book, and let me glue this one down and I'll show you. And I'm starting the base layers on all the pages at the same time. And then once the base layers are down, each individual page can have its own color theme, you know, holiday theme, whatever kind of collage board that I want to make out of it. So I'm just laying down book page. I'm trying to get rid of book page, guys. Remember, I don't know if you saw a while back, I mentioned in one of my hauls that, and I didn't show them, but I mentioned that my dad cleaned out his library and he said I could do whatever I wanted with them, and he gave me like, it had to be 60 or 70 books, which I broke down into text blocks and book covers or put away to make altered books out of. So I have some set aside to make altered books, and then I have an entire one of those big, huge plastic bins that you buy at Walmart that they measure in gallons. You know, like 28 gallons or 36 gallons or whatever. I don't even remember. I have one of those full of text blocks. So also, you'll see I'm putting this down upside down. As a background for a collage, I don't care if the text is upside down. The point of the text being there is not for you to read part of the book. So I'm not worried about it. One thing I will say, these are adult fiction books. So I have been having to watch as I lay these texts down to make sure I don't have any inappropriate language showing. That's one thing I did catch myself on. I had to make a note of something, and it will have to be covered up with, you know, I'll have to cover it with something. But anyway, we don't want any inappropriate language. Anyway, so I started off taking what I did was at first I took, so we have these pages, so they look like this. And I took the pages out and I just tore them into quarters. And then I realized I didn't want these wide blank borders on there. I was like, oh, well, the wide blank borders, I can just layer them and it's no big deal. But the more overlapping of pages you do, and then when you start adding stuff on top and everything, it starts getting really thick. So rather than adding a lot of bulk, I went through and tore the edges off. I used a ruler. I mean, I can't tear straight. I can't cut straight. I can't tear straight. So, and then once I used all those up, so I went through and I glued some pages down in different areas. So like this, as you can see, I have glued. And the idea for the workbook, covering up a workbook like this, came from, I watched Tina over at shabbydabbydoo do this. And I think I've linked her video below, but I will, when I hauled these workbooks, I think I linked it, but I will look for it and link it again. But she took a whole workbook and she just made collage pages out of it. So she basically had a book of collage masterboards, which I thought was an awesome idea. So anyway, using a book page. So I've done all of these pages. I've started them. See, here's where you can see I got another set of book page. And before I tore it into quarters, I tore all the edges off. Now, if you do this, don't throw away the edges, because later on in this video, we're just going to lay the word block pages down as a base. And then I want to show you what I did with the edges. So this is kind of a multi-craft video. Like I said, I'm new to these. So now what I do is I just take them and I tear them in half. You know, and like I said, I'm not really worried if it's upside down, right side up. I do try to use the pages or the side of the page that is more wordy, more densely packed with text, so that there's plenty of text on there. I'm not inking any of this. I'm not. And this is just one type of book page that I'm going to use, which is why. So what I'm doing is I'm going through the whole book and I'm putting down this type of book page. And then I'll go through and I'll find another book text block that is a little bit different from this one. Maybe different font, different age, different color on the paper. This is a newer book, so this is not aged at all. The paper is just cream colored with regular typed text. Nothing special about it. So I will go, my next run through the book, I will go and use some other text, some other type of text, something different. Or some other different color page if I can't find something with a neat font that's different enough. So, and this glue is it's very sticky. So like my hands I try to use the rag because like I said, it's very fluid, so it does seep out. And once it's down, it's down. There's no moving these. But I like the way it gets the edges plastered. I mean, the edges go down and they stay. So that's really nice. I kind of do things in a process. This will show you my process. Like I said, my process was to take these books and start with one single type of page, one single type of book page for the background, and just start laying it on every page. So it's kind of like assembly line collage, at least for the base. So I had a pile of the strips from ripping the edges, the blank edges off the pages, and I was like, I can't just throw them away. You know, I mean, isn't that the whole point? Is that we don't throw everything away like that? And I'll kind of show you what I came up with. I was actually just working on it. This was just kind of to introduce you to where I'm getting the strips from. And I will definitely come back to these collage books when I'm ready to start like actually filling in the pages. I feel like that's more of a video that you would want to watch than just me gluing book page down. All right, one more and then we'll try the other thing and then maybe we'll come back to this. I don't know if we'll come back to this video or if I'll do a part 2. I'm just showing you kind of what my process is, and then the next time I film, what I'll do is we'll actually do a page. I'll get out some other text, we'll finish the background, and then we'll start layering on decorative stuff. Pick a theme, pick a color, pick a something. And we'll start layering stuff on. Maybe I'll just open my scrap bin and see what looks good. That'll be the book. I still have several pages to put that kind of book page on. But you can see you get a lot of masterboards out of this. And this is a nice sturdy paper on its own. It's heavier than a copy paper. Maybe a 24 pound, maybe a 28. I don't know. And then you just, you know, and then if I want the back of it, if the back of it isn't going to be glued down in a book as a pocket or a cluster or something decorative, then I'll cover the back with, you know, coffee dyed paper or something to make it a journaling card or something like that. So this is where I've started. And I actually have a couple of these to cover. So I'm just tearing these out like this. Now they're not going to tear. The other day they were tearing just fine. And I'm sure you've seen people do this. So I'm doing this. And I'm lining it up at the edge of the text. And we're tearing it off like this. So I'm going to go all the way around this one. I won't stop to... But my thought was, as I was throwing these strips to the side, I was like, there's got to be something I can do with those. And they're very plain. So it's not like you would want to use them as... I mean, I suppose you could use them, like if you've got a dark background that you're trying to collage on top of, you could use this to break up the dark, torn pieces tucked behind a picture or something to pop it off of the dark background. But anyway, so then you end up with this text, and I would use probably this side, although those numbers are kind of cool. I would probably use this side as a background piece. But these strips, okay, so I have all of those, and I did this. This is the back base of a collage masterboard, right? This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock that is a very, very stark yellow. I don't like this yellow, except for it will probably make really good sunflower journal pages or paper or use there. But I'm going to use some of it, some of this cardstock for, here's a blank piece. So as you can see, it's layered like almost like tape. I just took the strips, and basically what I did was I used longer strips. We're going to change. Actually, no, we're not. We're just going to use this glue because I've got it out and it's down and it's easy to get to. So I started off thinking, oh, well, I'll just layer it strip by strip, right? Figure what the heck, you just go down the page. And then as I was doing that, I realized, you know what, this is not working how I wanted it to, because I was covering up some of the inking or whatever that I was doing. So what I decided was I would put down plain strips as an initial background and not over the whole page. So these strips go down like that, right? And then down the page, I skip a break that's wide enough to leave a gap, but not so wide that one of these strips can't cover it. So we put that there, right? Like that. I'm running out of long ones, guys. And I don't necessarily want the words showing on these, but they are background. So if worse came to worse and I ended up using a lot of the ones with the title and the author's name on it, I can cover that up with, I'm going to put this one here. I can cover it up with, you know, other strips of paper or whatever I end up putting on top of this background. And the really neat thing about this is you could, if you know what you're going to be using it for, if you know what kind of a, say, what kind of a theme or whatever that you're going to be using this Collage Masterboard to make journaling cards or tags for, then you can tailor the inking that you do. You could tailor the inking to whatever the project is you're working on. So like in this particular case with the one I made, I was using just I actually used 2 inks so that you would have some variation in the browns. It's not all, probably should have put the straight edge along the straight edge. But again, it's not really, it's kind of like any of the rest of this papercraft stuff we do. There's not really any mistakes. It's whether or not you end up liking what you've come up with. And as I've heard several ladies say, if you're working with collage, sometimes it seems like it's not coming out the way you like. And then you get it done, you just keep working on it and adding stuff and rearranging stuff, and eventually it works. So yeah, I think that's a good, we're going to see how long that spot is. Put this little piece here. And I thought that this pattern in the paper that you end up making from this, these just torn strips, made a really neat kind of background. Let's see, is that long enough to cover that gap? Not quite. I do like to cover, oh, that's definitely not long enough. I do like to cover my gaps because, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because when I come back and collage over it, if there's like a little space where the paper didn't fit right up against the other piece, you could stick a flower or a butterfly or a piece of scrap paper, you know, whatever you're decorating a collage board with over top of any of the gaps. So I guess it doesn't really have to be an exact thing, but I did check it as I was doing it the last time. And I keep not using my rag and my fingers just keep getting stickier and stickier. Okay, so let's see, where are we? All right, so having said that now, what I would do is I had my walnut stain. These are my little ones. My walnut stain and my vintage photo. And can I just tell you guys, I was using the wrong pads. So I finally got some foam pads for inking, the actual ink pads. I was using the alcohol ink felt pads to ink. And I actually had to get used to this because this inks differently than these. So I had to get used to it. I will say that. All right, let's not mix them. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of this paper. We're going to ink the edges really good. I need to pull some of those little felt scrappies off of there. They're leaving odd patterns, which isn't necessarily bad, but they don't blend very well. Okay, so we're going to take this strip that we've inked all around. And overlapping the ink pieces isn't a big deal. If you know you're going to overlap, maybe you don't have to waste ink on one of the edges. You know, that's okay. So then you would overlay the ink pieces on the middles like that. So let's get a piece. Let's get one of these littler pieces. I'm going to put this here. And we're going to ink it with the same color. So the other thing I tried to do was sort of, you know, scatter. I'm only using 2 ink colors, but I tried to kind of, let's do this side, less. I'm looking for less print in this case. I tried to sort of not bunch all of the vintage photo pieces together and not bunch all of the walnut stain pieces together. So there was some, you know, kind of, I guess, randomness to it. I mean, I'm only working with 3. I'm working with uninked and 2 browns. Okay, now, like I said, if you have lots of different colored inks and you really wanted to theme this for a particular journal or a particular season that you're working with, or, you know, like that, then by all means, add in, you know, whatever inks are at your disposal. You know, you could put, maybe do both browns and add, I don't know. I have some scrapbook paper that does, I think I hauled it. It was from Creative Memories, and it was some fall paper. It came in a fall, oh, for Pete's sakes, it came in a fall scrapbooking kit. And some of the pages were like a light blue and brown. So like maybe I'm working with that paper in this particular journal that I'm making, and I decide that, you know, I like all this brown in here. I'm going to add some, you know, some blue to go with those papers, to tie that blue in from that scrapbook paper. So not necessarily a holiday. Or maybe you take one of the browns out and you add red and green for Christmas. Or you add orange and red and one of the browns for Thanksgiving or fall. So, you know, you can add a 3rd color. You can, you know, there's a million different ways you could do this. And I think it would turn out really cool. And then you decorate it with the scraps and ephemera that go with said theme, right? Let's make sure I don't put the wrong lid back on the wrong ink. Okay, so now sometimes after I've done this, and like that was a really thin piece, and you can see this ink edge through. That's kind of cool. It tore so that it layered. You know how they separate. Sometimes I will just go ahead and put a blank white piece on there so that you do have some, like this piece here is on top and it's just white. I didn't ink that one. So sometimes I'll do that, especially if I've got, like I have the vintage photo. No, I have the walnut stain here and here, and then vintage photo here. And maybe I don't want another walnut stain there. Maybe I don't want another vintage photo right next to the first one. So I take this, and this will break up my edges right here. And it isn't the same size. So like a bit of the strip sticks out at the top up there, and you get, you know, you're still getting the layered effect. So now I don't think, see, my thing is I don't think I have any really long pieces left. Oh, I lied. There's one. And here he's just thin enough that he may leave a gap. What if I turn him that way? See, he's going to leave a bit of a yellow gap. So that would be a place where I would need to, if I like the yellow peeking through, leave it. Or if I don't, then obviously I would need, oh, lordy, lordy. I'm going to get myself all mixed up having both of these open. Hope that was the right one. Anyway, I'm going to glue this strip down, and then maybe we'll pull the one that I finished earlier over and start gluing some scraps to it. Okay. So let's put this down. Yikes. Okay. So you get the idea of how that gets started. And so I would finish going down this page with plain strips. These are all getting to be the really short ones. So I might end up having to tear some more pages down. The short ones I use more for the covering up and the inking part than I do for the layering, original layers part. I like to have the long ones for the original layers just because it covers the page faster. And I'm just trying to get down the page with the base layer. I found a long one. I'm going to glue this down real quick. So I'm going to pull some scraps over, and maybe we can put some scraps down on the other board that I made. Now that you've gotten an idea how to do this base. So there you go. And then, like I said, I'll go back and fill it in and cover this one with scraps as well. And because of the nature of it, they're all going to turn out different. I mean, you're never going to get two of these to look exactly alike, which is, you know, obviously the great thing about it. All right, now I'm going to push all these little strips to the side because we're not going to use those right now. And I'm going to close these up and open them as needed because I'm sure I'll use them. All right, now, the question is, do I want to work on this based on something I'm working on, or do I just want to throw stuff down and see how it turns out? So I'm going to tear some of this, we're going to start with some purple. And we're maybe going to, let's ink it. This is Vintage Photo. Getting it all over my mat. Okay, so we're going to ink this up a little bit. I figured starting on the base with, you know, not necessarily neutral, because the base itself is already kind of neutral, but starting on the base with a color, or maybe two colors that are going to be sort of the overriding, theme on this. And who knows? I mean, I might put this purple down and end up being... I won't say a mistake, because it's never a mistake. Like I said earlier, you just keep working with it until you get it the way you want. All right, we're going to put this down right here on the edge of the page. Okay. There we go. And we're going to do this piece. Let's see how we do working in those. I've seen a lot of people, they try the rule of threes. And we'll see about trying that rule of threes and see what we come up with. Okay. And then let's tear a piece off to go down this side. What do you think? Is that too big? Oh, this is too straight. I don't like that. I don't want it to be too small either. That's a little weird. That might be okay. Let's get some of this white. I know I can ink the white, but sometimes that it's too wide. I know I should have torn the other direction, but I wasn't really paying attention. Okay, let's lay my purple scraps aside over here. We'll put this last one down. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't have a lot of like ephemera built up to put on top of these collage boards. So like stickers and things like that will be a lot of what I use. Just because I don't, like I said, I don't have a lot of built up ephemera. I do have some Tim Holtz stuff hiding around here somewhere. Okay, so we got 3 pieces of that. I've got some of this page, which I thought would be kind of fun. It's already torn scraps. So we'll glue some of this down. Put this piece in the corner up here. Oh, there we go. I like this little bit here with the little frame. So let's try putting this, it's got a straight edge on it. Maybe I'll tear that down. Let's tear the other way. Yeah, like that. Let's ink that white. And although this looks aged, I didn't ink the other piece, but I was just realizing it looks aged, and actually the vintage photo marks matches what it looks like they inked. The pieces that they layered for this piece of scrapbook. This was a piece of scrapbook paper I had. Just kind of, I think it came with a pack of, like, if you wanted to do a family tree scrapbook. So it like came with family tree charts, and because it talks about genealogy, and I think somewhere on here. I think I'm going to do an overlap. So we're going to put one right here. Yeah, like that. And I think we'll take this piece, which has two straight edges on it. I'm going to have to do something about that. I don't mind the one straight edge at the bottom, because I'm going to see if we can't tear this white edge off. Okay. All right, so this will be 3 of these. I don't suppose you have to stick to a rule of 3s, but I feel like it kind of helps you not overcrowd the page with one design, or, you know, like that. All right. And we have that down. Okay, now, I don't know if I should put another color down or move on to something with, like, design and more color in it. Like, I have this, and it's got purple flowers on the wood. I just don't know if I want to put more wood down. Guys, I've been working with wood for so long. It's like, we'll set it aside for just a second. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. My scrap box. Heavens to Betsy. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, this is nice. I like this paper. What about this? I like that. Let's take that out. And here's some lavender. I could use some of this. Or maybe that. Let's not stick to all purple. I've got these. These are kind of nice. They tie into the orange flowers. These little bits. Let's take some of those out. I got some little ones. I feel like I'm not digging very far. Just kind of taking what's on top. Well, this pile is so enormous, and it needs to be in something that I can work in better, but it's not. So, yeah. Oh, and I wanted to take these out of here just because, I mean, that's perfectly good journaling card making right there. Just taking up space in my... I like that side. Yeah, that goes. I like that. Let's see, what else? Ooh, maybe this. What do you think? I don't want to get too much, but we'll see what we like best. I'm going to put this scrap box back out of the way, so I need to get some options, and then we can... You guys can see what kind of scraps I've got. That's kind of neat. Look, I have these ovals, vellum ovals. Those will get used in something, I'm sure. But here's more cards. Those were from a scrap pack, I think. Maybe I'll get this piece out. This is cardstock, but... Ooh, it's got writing all over it. Oh, this might have been something I ripped out of a scrapbook. I redid some scrapbooks. I still have to make some masks for the photographs so I can show you guys my scrapbooks. You can see where all these scraps came from. Because they did not come from junk journaling. They came from scrapbooking. Okay, let's see what we got. Let's put down Let's put down some of this flower. I really like this. I'm thinking about putting a piece up here in the corner. Let's see, what corner do I want? Let's use this corner. Nope, tear the other way, Cindy. And we'll tear right like that. What do you think? Right there? I'm afraid I'm going to end up covering up all my background I made. Is that horrid? Maybe I won't have it go all the way into the corner. Just right there. You get a little bit of the background peeking out on the corner. All right, let's ink this piece. I have a tendency to make my collages get too busy. That's my problem. So I have to like, I have to stop myself. And like this scrapbook paper, it's going to be hard to put something down over that. I mean, I will, but as far as like ephemera goes, it's going to be hard to put something over that because it's already so busy. So, you know, what do you put over that that won't get lost in the background? You know what I mean? So this is where playing with all your collage stuff comes in, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that. I just don't know how I'm gonna collage. See, and that's where I guess taking like a piece of maybe this and kind of shooting into there a little bit would help with breaking it up so that you could put something else in there. All right, you know what? I'm going to tear this down the middle so I don't have so much straight edge working against me. Maybe a littler piece like this. Can you see that piece of white paper stuck to my thumbnail? I got another piece stuck to this thumb from tearing the little white bits off the edges. So yeah, this is where I'm going to have my problems, is making the collage not so overly busy that that I can't play with it, that I can't do anything to it, that I can't put anything on it. Also, I may want to do like some more, so like all this background is all torn and tattered. Over top of this, I may actually want to do some like straight edge strips or something. I don't know. Let's try this piece with these kind of darker ones. Oh, guys. This might have to, I might have to call it after we get this down. This may be the background, and then I'll have to figure out, I'll try and figure out what kind of ephemera and stuff's going to go on top, and then I'll film a part 2 and we'll finish the background together. Or finish the collage together, rather. Okay, let's glue this one on, and then I think I'm going to call it for the big pieces of background. Just because this video is getting up there in time and I don't want to. Let's do it like that. like that. Okay. All right. So we've made a good start. I feel like this is very, this is, like I said, this is all very new to me. This is, you guys are walking through my first collage masterboard completion. So what I'll do is, I will find some coordinating, like washi tapes and stickers and things like that to put on here. And when I come back to see you guys again, I will have some stuff ready and we will add to this, finish it. We'll flip it over and cut it. I'll decide what kind of cuts I want to make. We'll flip it over and cut it and then turn it back over and see what we get. So I always like it when they do that. I've watched a couple of people do that with their masterboards. They flip it over. Oh no. It's the one thing about this glue. The lid, if you don't keep the lid on it, it dries in that nozzle. Fast. I mean, I know they all dry in their nozzles, but this one does fast. Okay, so I will see you guys in part 2. I hope you enjoyed this take I did on this collage masterboard background with these book page strips. And I hope it gives you, I don't know, maybe somebody's already done this, but I hope it gives you some ideas of, you know, ways to use these when you're tearing up book page. And I will see you in part 2. Thanks, guys, for stopping by.